Hello, welcome back to a vlog that I'm finally posting. It's been a hot minute. I apologize for that. I don't have a good reason. This video, so we're gonna be doing a readathon, a 24-hour readathon, and I decided to do the timer method. So for 24 hours, I sat and read. Yes, I am filming this afterwards because when I first started this video, what I had planned on doing was doing a 24 and 48. That did not happen because for many reasons we ended up going around and doing other things. We went to a movie and I did have 2 days off, but I did not read for 24 hours of those 48 hours. So I'm popping in right here at the beginning just to let you know this is the timer method. So you will see clips of my phone with a timer going. This took a lot longer to complete than I thought it was going to, honestly, but I managed to read quite a few books and I'm pretty happy with myself about it. So if you guys are interested, let me know. I may do more of these in the future, all of that good stuff. A lot of audiobooks, physical books, ebooks even, like I did a lot. So settle in, get a drink. It's gonna be a long video, but if any of the clips talk about it being a 24 and 48, kind of disregard that because it's what it started off as. It's no longer what it is. All right, let's go. Alright, 2 hours later and I finished The Woodkin. I might have to do a series on reading some of these kinds of horror books because the endings just always are a little bit too... I'm not sure. The ending was dissatisfying for me, but I don't know if that's a horror book thing or not, or what's going on with that. So maybe I'll have to do some series where I read some more horror books and decide like if I like the genre or not, because I'm starting to wonder if I do. Anyways, that took me about 2 hours, so I'm 2 hours into my 24 hours. We got to Kitty. She took a nap with me for a little while. She took a nap while I was reading for a while. So I'm sitting here at 22 hours exactly, so it took me 2 hours exactly to read the rest of the book, which was like 150 pages, I want to say, something like that. I always read these a little bit slower, but it was fine. I didn't dislike it. I rather liked the horror element of it. Just the ending bothered me a bit for some reason. So yeah, I don't know. We'll kind of decide on that one. But that one also is partially a personal thing. So, yes. But I need to do a couple things before I get back into reading, which is fine. That way I'll be able to digest this one and then decide what I'm going to jump into next, because I don't know. I'll come back to you guys when I decide what I'm going to read next. I think Doves and Demons, something completely different, because I think that's how I'm going to have to do these kinds of readathons, is where instead of reading something similar, it's like I gotta jump so that way I can keep all the books straight in my head and such. So a paranormal fantasy steampunk monster romance is different from a horror. There you go. Alright, lunch is in the microwave, that's what you're hearing, and we're gonna continue Doves and Demons by Cleo Evans. I am 186 pages into this book. So there, let's go. All right, we're now sitting at 20 hours and 16 minutes left, and I have finished Doves and Demons by Cleo Evans. It was good. This is an erotica book. This is definitely not just romance. This is definitely erotica. But I really, honestly, the plot behind it was pretty good. I really actually enjoyed the steampunk plot that was happening in the background. Kind of like almost a mafia gang wars kind of thing. So that was interesting, actually. I did enjoy that. But this is definitely just an erotica story. It's just a monster erotica book. So that's what it was. It was good though. Honestly, I did enjoy it. And that's 2 books down in less than 4 hours. See, when I actually sit down and read books, I get through them, but I actually need to do that. And in my defense, both of these books were already started. So, yes. I didn't check, actually. I was going to check. I've read less than 400 pages, though. Or about 400 pages, I think is what it ended up being so far. So, what am I going to read next? I don't know. I think John and I are going to go to a movie tonight, which we haven't gone to a movie in a while. We're going to go see the remastered Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, episode 3 of Star Wars, which, unfortunately, I'm going to probably lose points here. It's one of my least favorites in the original, in the first trilogy. It is my least favorite in the original trilogy, but it's not because of what was in it. It was because of the fact that the pacing in episodes 1, 2, 3 was not good, and it bothered me even the first time I saw it, and because of that, the movie has kind of stuck out as one of my least favorites, unfortunately. I didn't see the last trilogy. I can't do it. I saw episode 7 and went, no, I'm good. But I loved Rogue One. Rogue One was amazing. But anyways, I'm getting into Star Wars things here now, but we are going to go see that. So we'll see if I like it any better this time around. I've still got a couple hours before we're going, but it's been a while since we've had a date night. We've both been busy. So yeah, but it'll be a good time. Honestly, it'll be fun. I think it will be. I gotta figure out what I'm reading next. I have no idea. I don't know what I want to do next. But I have a kitty cat. She's been my reading buddy. Right, honey? Yeah, she's been my reading buddy. So I have a reading buddy right now, and I'm going to go find another book to read while I still have my reading buddy. She's probably going to run away again as soon as I stand up. But that's 2 books down. Look at me go.
I know that I haven't been who I was. I am supposed to be the one you can trust. I feel so useless 'cause I let you down. I hope there's some way I can make it alright, 'cause I know that you deserve much more than this. If you give me one more chance, I swear I'll try my best to always be there. And I want you to know that I'm lost without you. I'm not without you.
about to die and the cat's gonna leave now, but I just read through My Dear Detective by Natsumi Ito. This is for me, it's a new series. I guess it's not new because I looked up and there's like 5 or 6 volumes in this already. I thought there were only like 2 or 3, but yeah, I read it. Cliffhanger, did not expect cliffhanger in manga, but I'm honestly excited. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. I gave it like a 4.75. I really enjoyed it. I do plan on continuing it. I know my library has a second one, so I will probably pick it up. I may end up buying these. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I really enjoyed this one, so I highly recommend. And I think the next one I'm going to jump into is going to be Howl's Moving Castle, but I'm gonna get up and have some food, I think, so. Yes. The door keeps making noises. I think we have a ghost. Happens. Alright, so it's later. I have started Howl's Moving Castle. This is technically a reread, but I haven't read this book in probably 6 years. Absolutely adore it. I'm like 100 pages in. I'm listening to the audiobook. I forgot how dramatic Howl is. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. So if you've seen the Studio Ghibli movie, highly recommend. Great movie. The book is not the same. It's the same-ish characters, but it's very, very different as far as how they act, especially Howl. Howl's very different in the book versus the movie. And so is Sophie, but oh my gosh, and Michael, actually all of them basically. Sorry, I had to change my battery, sorry. But Howl in this book is like, he is so overly dramatic, and anything that bothers him, like at one point in this book, the relationship between Howl and Sophie is very different from what Studio Ghibli showed, which the Studio Ghibli version has its place, and it is a lovely movie. It's still one of my favorite movies. But in this book, like at one point, Sophie throws a bucket at his head. Like she's done with him, and he's so whiny, but it's also so funny because it's like overly dramatic in the funniest way possible. But I also enjoy the story. So that's what I've got. I'm like almost 100 pages into this book. I'm like 2 hours into the audiobook, I think. Something like that. Where are we at? I'm a quarter of the way through. So I am 2.5 hours into the audiobook. So yes, that's where we're at. I am really, really liking this. It's so much fun. But yeah, that's where we're at. Figured I'd give you a little update as to where I am. I'm working on a very old diamond painting that I have. See, this is all done. I just gotta do this corner. So I'm hoping to maybe finish this today. Since I have some time, I did a little bit of cleaning. I repotted some plants. And yes, now we're back to this.
I've been so selfish and made you believe that you're not good enough, but you're all I need. I take you places that you've never been. I would give you the world if you let me try again. Yeah, just give me one more chance. I swear I'll try my best to always be there. And I want you to know that I'm lost without you. I'm not without you. I hope I can show what you mean to me, 'cause I don't know what to do if you go. I just don't know what to do if you go.
So this might actually get split into 2 videos because I finished Howl's Moving Castle. I really liked it. I knew I would like this. I loved it the first time I read it. I loved it the second time I read it. but I'm still sitting at 16 and a half hours left. I'm gonna read more books in this 24 hours than I thought I was going to. Granted, I'm not reading long or challenging books, so maybe that's what I need to do. I need to switch it up or something like that. But it's 4:45. We have a phone call we've got to do, wedding related, at 5 o'clock. So we'll see about after that what I end up doing. We might watch another movie tonight. I've been watching a lot of movies lately, which is fine. Not a problem or anything like that. But it's not going to be 24 and 48. I thought I was going to do... No. As of right now, I have read for 8 hours? Can I math? Like less than 8 hours in 48 hours. So, yeah, that's okay. It is how that's just a much more accurate representation of how much I read and why when I do sit down to read, I can read a lot, but I'm not reading nearly as often as I know some people are able to. I have a lot of other things going on. I get distracted by things. There's a kitty. There's the kitty. Yeah. Hi, baby. She's been hanging out with me all day today. All right. But that's gonna be my little update. And I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna read next. All right, just doing a little update. I am at 13 hours and 11 minutes left on the timer. I've been listening to an audiobook at work, and it's the Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's nonfiction, but it's one that I've been waiting for like a couple months now, so I got it, so I've been listening to it, and I'm halfway done, so there we go. It should take up another probably like 4 or 5 hours. John's brushing his teeth. And then I'm gonna jump into another physical read for this vlog. So there we go. We're over halfway there, guys. Nope, not yet. We're almost halfway there. All right, let's do a little update because we haven't. I am now down to 9 hours and 7 minutes left in my 24 hours of reading. And I finished another book. I finished a nonfiction book. I finished Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I actually really thought it was very interesting. I do have like a slight fascination with World War II history, although my interests tend to be earlier, tend to be more for like prehistoric kind of interest. That's really where I am fascinated, where I want to learn more, which I'm starting to do. I've been picking up more books that are kind of prehistoric history, so I'm very excited about that. I do have a shirt on, by the way. But I started 2 other ebooks. One of them I will not be finishing right now. I'm not in the right mind space for it, and that's A Pact for Autumn by Emiliana Emerson. I started this one, I'm about 20% in, and honestly, it's much too erotica for me right now. I get it, I understand Omegaverse, I know how it works. For me, it's a bit too much too fast. I know it's supposed to be, that's the whole point of it, but meh. It's not really my thing right now. I will read it another day because I know I'll find this actually interesting and I will enjoy it another day, but I'm just not in the mental space for that. The other one I started is Killer of Mine by Alexis Grace. I hesitate to finish this one because the 3rd book isn't out, and I get a feeling for this why I choose I'm going to want the ending. I'm going to want to know, and I think it's just a trilogy. But the first 2 books are out. The 3rd one doesn't have a release date yet, and it doesn't have a cover or anything. Although I think the 2nd one just came out. Yeah, they just came out this year. When did it come out? It came out in January, so it just came out this year. And it's called Secrets of Mine. This is a why choose, like, Criminal Minds-esque coded romance. It follows a woman who is the daughter of a notorious serial killer and the group from the FBI who is trying to hunt him down. So yeah, it's interesting. I do like the characters in this one, though the instant attraction's a little bit much for me already again in this one. And I wonder if I was spoiled with like the Eva Chase books, because while some of those are a bit insta-lust, for some reason I don't mind them as much. For these ones, it really bothers me, and I don't know why. But I'm not sure why it bothers me so much, but it does. So that's unfortunate. But I will be, since I finished Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare today, I will be starting the audiobook for 3 Hours in Paris. Wow, 3 Hours in Paris. This is another nonfiction. And then I'm going to also start Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard, which is on my TBR this month. Actually, so is 3 Hours in Paris. But Runtime is the horror thriller that I'm going to be reading. It's also on my R Fantasy TBR. That's the word, TBR. So I am hoping to get the 9 hours in today. I may not. It may end up being tomorrow, but I'm okay with that. I think we'll be good. I didn't read nearly as much this weekend as I wanted to, because we ended up having a bridal shower. We ended up doing a lot of stuff this weekend, and I ended up working as well. So I didn't end up reading nearly as much as I wanted to, which is unfortunate, but we do what we can. It's taken me more days to get through 24 hours of reading than I thought it would, but I guess last time I did this, I only made it through half. I only did 12 hours of reading, and I didn't do a part 2, so oops. But we're gonna finish it. I've got 9 hours left, so yeah, that's where we're at. That's what I got. That's my update. Very long update, but it's an update. Alright, so I know this is supposed to be a reading vlog, but I got some boxes, some book mail, and I don't get that much book mail right now, because on purpose, because yes. But I got a couple books that I just really wanted to share with you guys. This first one, this is from Broken Binding. This is not my monthly subscription. What this is this is a special one that I did order, so I pre-ordered this. And this should be my copy of The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Actually, I need that open in a second again. I'm so excited and so happy that Broken Binding is still continuing to ship to the US. The day they stop is going to be a very sad day for me. But hold on, let's unwrap this very amazing, intense packaging. I still have like 9 hours left. No, 7.5 hours left of this readathon, so we'll see. I'm so excited. Ooh, they got new wrapping. Okay, interesting. It's no longer tied with a bow, but it is. It's The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Abercrombie. Oh, goodness. Interesting. I've honestly been very good about ordering any sort of special editions and stuff. It's so pretty! Oh my goodness. This is this stunning special edition. And the back says, there are tasks that must be undertaken and methods used to which the faithful and unimpeachable are not suited. I love this. This is kind of like the bad guys go on a quest, or like the anti-heroes, those kinds of people go on a quest, and I'm kind of here for it. Also, those edges, guys. Those edges. Oh my gosh. They are so stunning. I love their sprayed edges. Their covers are beautiful. There's more. Okay, so it's not a reversible dust jacket, which is fun. But you can barely see it, but it is. Oh my gosh, the crown. And then the back says, no matter how you fight, you can't beat time. It lays low every empire, topples every tyrant. So true. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. And then we have end pages, which they did publicize this so you can see this beforehand. It's one of the many things that sold me on this book. I was honestly already intrigued by this book before. It's very dark, just physically. Like, it's just a very dark picture. I don't know if I can show this one. It's got boobs on it. Oh well. I was already intrigued by this book simply because of the plot. But yes, I'm so excited to have this. It says, when you're headed through hell, you'll need the devils on your side. I'm so excited for this. I am honestly so stoked to have this and so excited to read it. All right, my next one, book of the month. I still do get book of the month. I've been getting book of the month for years. Looked back on it. I've been getting this for like almost 10 years. It's kind of ridiculous. And in all that time, I've never finished their challenges because I keep forgetting their thing. I got 2 books, and the reason it came so late is because one of the books I got was Silver Elite. Since when do they do sprayed edges? What? Book of the month never does sprayed edges. What is this? Anything else they did? No, that's it. Okay. They never do sprayed edges. What is this? I honestly haven't heard a lot about the things that I have heard about this one is people are absolutely loving it. They're saying it's going to be like the next Fourth Wing, but that it's a little bit better. So I'm intrigued. I really like the cover. I tend to go into book of the month books not really remembering what happened in them, and that's just how I am. I'm sorry. But I got Silver Elite by Danny Francis, so that's exciting. And then I also got The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North. So I believe I have read an Alex North book before. No, but I do own The Whisper Man by him. I also got that one from Book of the Month. And this is a serial killer thriller, which I have a weakness for. And that's what I know about this, is a childhood serial killer comes back to haunt him. Comes back and finds him, basically. So yes, I'm intrigued, and this is my little miniature book haul. I'm very excited, and now we're gonna get back to the vlog, because this vlog has been going on for far too long now that I have the May Book of the Month books that were delayed. It's been pages since we met. So there. That's all I got. All right, it is day, I'm not exactly sure what, of doing this 24-hour reading vlog. But on the plus side, I'm down to 2 hours and 13 minutes left on my timer. I did just finish another book. I finished the audiobook right here for 3 Hours in Paris. Come on. For 3 Hours in Paris by Cara Black. This was on my TBR. This is a historical fiction, technically. In 1940, Hitler was in Paris, the City of Lights, for approximately 3 hours, and no one knows exactly what happened there or why he left so quickly. And even to this day, what his higher-ups had said changed. They were not consistent in what they had said about what happened or when they'd even gone to Paris. So this author came up with a possibility of what happened in those 3 days, and actually a little bit after that. So it was very interesting. I really liked the story itself. I'm probably gonna get a 4.5 out of 5. I would highly recommend listening to the audiobook if you read it. This is one I really hadn't heard much about before, but I was recommended by a patron at the library, and I'm so glad I read it. It is definitely a good book, definitely one I would recommend. So especially if you have any interest in World War II history, it delves into a lot of the intricacies of the spy networks and the undercover shenanigans, and I shouldn't say shenanigans, the undercover operations and operatives that they had. So on both sides even. So, and just how terrifying it could be. So I highly recommend. It was very good. And I have a couple others. I have 2 Rachel Harrison audiobooks that I've just gotten from my Libby, but I also got sent, to my surprise, an audiobook from NetGalley, and I got sent The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North. So I think I'm gonna listen to that one, a thriller, because why not? I listened to it. It's this, so I got this, and I'm listening to it on the NetGalley app. I didn't request this, but I got an email. I get these every once in a while where I have read and reviewed an Alex North books before, I believe, and all I know about this one, it is 8.5 hours long, so I won't finish it before the end of this readathon, but I am gonna start it, mostly because I want to go for a walk. So I'm gonna go for a walk right now. I know I am partway into run time, but unfortunately that book just, Catherine Ryan Howard, I love her writing, it just takes me a long time to read it, and unfortunately this one does not have an audiobook on my Hoopla, which is really annoying, because almost every other book she has an audiobook on my Hoopla. So, we're gonna listen to this one though, and I'm gonna walk to go get coffee and breakfast, even though it's like almost 10 o'clock. I did have coffee, and I went out into the garden and I planted a lot of my veggies, and then I have one fruit plant. I have a strawberry bush that I've planted, or a strawberry plant that has been planted now. I think a couple of my peas survived the birds and the squirrels, so hopefully those will actually grow. My garlic is growing great. I planted lettuce today. I planted peppers and 3 different kinds in the garden. I do have some cayenne, but I don't think they're gonna grow this year, so I'm gonna have to try that again next year. And I'm running out of space in my garden bed to plant these. But I have a tomato plant, I have a couple bell pepper plants, and I have a couple jalapeno, and only one habanero actually survived. So, we'll see how this goes. But we're gonna start listening to a new book, and I'm gonna walk and go get some more coffee. Also because I just want to get out of the house and walk to go get coffee. I just feel like that would be a good thing to do. So we're gonna go do that. Take you with, maybe. I don't know. This is gonna be such a long vlog. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I did not expect to get through this much in 24 hours, honestly. But I'm okay with it, I think.
I don't understand why you're taking off. First you say you love me, now you're breaking it off. You had me at a low, and then you passed go and collected your greens. Easily it seems, oh. Tell me, did I do something wrong? Or did you invite someone to this song? I don't wanna start by criticizing you, but since we don't talk, there's nothing left to do.
Alright, well I just filmed this entire like 10-minute clip, and it got corrupted, so now I have to do it again. But let's go through what I read for this readathon. 24 hours, I managed to get through 1,959 pages, which I'll take. That's awesome. I like that number. I wish it had rounded up to about 2,000, but we take what we can get around here, honestly, and that'll be my goal for next time I do a readathon like this, because I think that will happen. I like doing this timer method a lot better than I like doing stay up all night kind of thing. I'm too old for that now. It just ends really poorly when I stay up all night, honestly. So, let's get into the books that I read for this readathon. I have, I believe, 6 books that I finished, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 that I started. So I went through about 10 books. I made progress in 10 books for this readathon, which honestly is pretty good. I guess I underestimated how much I could read in 24 hours. The first book you would have seen was The Woodkin by Alexander James. You probably would have actually seen this version of it, this cover. This is the Twisted Retreat. This is the Twisted Retreat edition of this book that I read. I really did enjoy this book, honestly. I gave it a 3.75. I no longer subscribe to Twisted Retreat, but I have kind of come to the conclusion is that I need to go through horror books and decide if I actually enjoy them or not. Because the horror elements of this book I truly did enjoy. I really liked how creepy the woods were and what he ran into in there and everything, and the town and how everything played in together. However, I didn't like the ending. I think it was just too quick, and I didn't like the fact that the ending felt... The ending also dealt with a trope that I personally do not like at all, and so it didn't quite work for me in that way. But I liked the horror aspect, so I'm curious to know if that's how all horror books are, if they're great when it's horror and then kind of drop off when it comes to things that aren't horror. That's what I'm curious about, so I do think I want to go through and read a bunch of these horror books at some point just to try and figure that out. Since I had already started this book before the readathon started, I read 201 pages in this book, and that's what got me going in the readathon. The second book that I read was another one I had started, and that was Doves and Demons by Cleo Evans. I guess when I had first started it, I didn't realize how much of an erotica this book is. However, I will admit there was a solid plot line to it as well, and I really did enjoy the characters and how distinct they all were, how different all of their voices were. It was really cool to read that in this kind of book. I haven't read a lot of steampunk, but this is definitely steampunk. This was definitely a lot of intriguing ideas as far as the steampunk world goes and those kinds of tropes, and I ended up reading 192 pages of this book for the readathon. I don't know that I'll read the next book. There is a sequel to this, I guess, and it follows the sister of our main character. I don't really have any interest in reading that, but I don't know. We're just kind of chilling here. I read it. I enjoyed it. Moving on. I do have a couple other books by Cleo Evans that I think I'm going to read. They're very different from this one. They're small town romances, so maybe I'll give those a try. I know that I like her writing, so we'll see. Although I wonder how different it is. The next book that I read was a manga, and I read My Dear Detective, Mitsuko's Case Files, Volume 1 by Natsumi Ito. I picked this book up, honestly, on a whim from the library, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5. Oh, this one I gave a 4 out of 5 too, by the way. But this one, it follows Hoshino Mitsuko, who works as a detective at this agency in the 1920s when a working woman is viewed as not a good thing. They are very much looked down upon, and she is very much looked down upon for what she's trying to do until she meets Yoshida Saku, who is a waiter, and he gets super excited when he realizes that she is a detective. And he kind of appoints himself as her assistant, as her apprentice, and the story goes from there. It's a lot of fun. We follow them in a couple different adventures in this first one. We end on a cliffhanger on the end, but it still felt cozy, if you will. I did pick up the second book. I did pick up the second volume, and I do plan on reading it very soon, honestly. So, highly recommend. It was so much fun. The next book that I finished and that I read in this was Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I have read this one before. This is a reread. I absolutely adored this book the second time I read it, almost as much as I loved it the first time that I read it. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I knew I would love it. I highly recommend it, especially if you have seen the movie. This gives more kind of a detailed description of the characters. It gives them a bit of a deeper personality than the movie did. Studio Ghibli is absolutely wonderful. I adore them, and Howl's Moving Castle was one of the first Studio Ghibli movies that I saw. The first one was Princess Mononoke. But this was the second one that I ever saw. I adored it. I loved it. And it had me inspired to read the book. And I read the book and I discovered I love this for very different reasons. And for the reason that Howl is so dramatic in this one. Like, you remember how dramatic he is in the movie, and multiply it by like 10 and you get Howl in the book. And then Sophie is so sassy. She's not just kind of a quiet character. She is so sassy in this book. I absolutely love it. Michael's different. All the characters are a bit different. Calcifer is blue. but it's still a very good book. I really enjoyed this one. For a middle grade, this is a wonderful story to read. I would highly recommend it for middle grade and above. It's so magical. I gave it, like I said, I gave it a 5 out of 5. This is the first book in a trilogy that is completed. I haven't read the other two. I don't know if I should. If any of you have read them, let me know, and maybe I'll check them out at some point. But yes, I did read this one again, and I loved it, like I knew I would. The next book that I finished/read was Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, The Mavericks Who Plotted Hitler's Defeat by Giles Milton. Now, this is a nonfiction book about World War II, so trigger warnings right there for World War II. But this followed the basically Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Churchill was the first to decide that maybe fighting a gentleman's war wasn't the way to win this World War II, and he put together spy agency and basically guerrilla warfare of sorts, and this followed the development of that, what they did for the war efforts, who the people were, and all of that, and it was very interesting. I started reading this book, actually, I put it on a hold at my library probably 6 or 7 months ago, back when John and I first watched the movie, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare with Henry Cavill. Amazing movie, great movie, very, very small part of this book. It was a part of the book, but it was very different. It was a small part, and it was very it was expanded upon, it was dramatized, all of that. But it was very dramatic. What they did was very dramatic. And I do think that as a nonfiction book, this, for me, was very captivating. It was well written, it was very intriguing, it held my interest for the entirety of the book, which is why it got 5 stars from me. Now, the next book that I hopped into as far as audiobooks, and the last one for this readathon that I finished, was 3 Hours in Paris by Cara Black. Now, this one also deals with World War II, it deals with 1940. In 1940, Hitler went to Paris for 3 hours, and then he left. No one knows what happens. No one knows exactly what he did there or when exactly he was there, because there isn't anything recorded about it. And so this is technically fiction because it is Cara Black's idea of what could have happened. So this is true historical fiction. I really, really enjoyed this one. It was captivating, it was emotional. It was very obvious to me that she had done her research on the spy networks and the sniper networks of the British Royal Navy, which is what our character was a part of, and what was happening in Paris at the time that this book takes place. So I think it was really well done. I gave it a 4.5. There were a couple moments that I did feel pulled out of the story. However, overall, thoroughly enjoyed. I will try other things by Cara Black. And this, I think, is one of my favorite historical fiction books in this sort of niche that I have ever read. So, highly recommend. Historical Mysteries. It was so well done, in my personal opinion. So, yes. Now, jumping into the books that I did not finish during this readathon, the first one being Pack for Autumn. I got 76 pages into this one. I am very familiar with the Omegaverse. I have been reading AO3 since I was in my early 20s, late teens, yes. So over 10 years. Yeah. So I am familiar with the Omegaverse. However, this book, if you are new to Omegaverse, this is a good place to start, because our author also explains it at the beginning. She explains a lot of the concepts of Omegaverse and how she has interpreted it and how she is using it, and that explains a lot of what's happening in this book. For me personally, I was not in the mental state to read Omegaverse, didn't realize it till I started and went, no, not feeling this right now. For me, I have to be in a certain mindset in order to read Omegaverse, and that just wasn't it for me today, for this one at this time. I will go back and reread it at some point, because it was good. It was very fun, Omegaverse. I really liked the characters. They were all very different, very fun, very cute. It's a cutesy, it's going to be a cute short read, and that's what it is. The next one was Killer of Mine. I only read 35 pages of this one, and part of it, like I said in the video, is because the last book isn't out, and I have a feeling it won't be out for a little while since we don't have a cover. We have a title, and that's about it. I think it's only a trilogy, but there were a couple questionable things that I just wasn't really fully vibing with in this story. I love the idea, I love the concept, and then there was a little bit too much insta-love in one instance for me that just, it took me completely out of the story and just didn't work, and now I'm not sure what to think. And for that, I put it down, and I just don't have an inkling to pick it up, unfortunately. I have a different FBI Why Choose Romance that I have on hand that I might try that one instead, and that might just be more for me than this one was. But for some reason, this one just, it didn't work for me. The next one that I started was Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. I got 95 pages into this one. I am really enjoying it. I enjoy Catherine Ryan Howard's writing. However, it is slow for me. It takes me a long time to get through these books, and I know that going into them. This one, unfortunately, my library and Hoopla does not have an audiobook for it, so I don't know if there just isn't one or if we just don't have access to it. Whatever it is, I do not have an audiobook for this one. So if you can tell me where I could find that one, that would be great. But, and I'm trying not to use Audible all the time. But anyways, I've enjoyed what I've read in the first almost 100 pages, but again, it's slow going, so I didn't want to end on this book because I knew I wouldn't get very far into it. And then the last book that I have started in this vlog was The Man Made of Smoke by Alex North, which I did look it up. I have read an Alex North book before. I don't know where Alex Smoke came from. I read The Shadows years ago, back when it first came out, but I own all of his books because they're all Book of the Month books that I have gotten at one point or another. I've gotten all of his books through Book of the Month. I read now 1.5 of them. I got 154 pages into this book, and I am hooked. I love this plot line. I love this idea. I love the characters. When I hauled the audiobook, when I told you I had gotten the book from NetGalley, again, I did not request it. It was sent to me because I had reviewed The Shadows through audiobook through NetGalley years ago. And so they sent me the audiobook for this one as well, and I'm glad they did, but I did not, for some reason, make the connection at the time that this was the Book of the Month book I had just hauled. So, that one's on me. But I'm also really excited, because I think this is going to be so much fun. Like I said, I'm about halfway through this book right now. I anticipate finishing it tomorrow, maybe, because I'm probably going to listen to it at work, maybe tonight, depending on what we end up doing. But I had a great time. I was having a great time reading this book. So, yes, that's my update. I got through 4 books total. I started 4 more. No, I got through 6 books total. 4 of them were physical, and I started 4 other books. That's 10 books I touched on in this video in the 24 hours, which is pretty awesome to me. You know what? I'll take that, honestly. So, yes. I did read 10 pages of another book, but I'm not counting that one because it's 10 pages. I barely touched it. And I don't even know that I had the timer going while I was reading it. So, yes. But that's my summary for the 24 hours of reading. Hopefully this clip worked. If you got this far in the video, thank you for one. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And put fire. A fire emoji. For smoke. For the Woodkin. And for Doves and Demons, because there is fire in all of those. And in several of the other books. There's fire in a lot. Probably in almost all of these. Yep, basically. And for Calcifer, because Calcifer is a fire demon. But that's what I got for you guys here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out in the long run. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, keep reading, and keep moving forward. Welcome back. Bye!